Everybody, it's me, Andrew. Get out into nature and tune in for yourself. Resonate with the Earth's electromagnetic field via 432 Hz, the universal frequency. Balance out psychologically and emotionally, and further strengthen your brain and your heart's coherence as well. Get a plant-based diet going for yourselves today and nurture yourself right back into life. We are literally herbivores in our nature. Further balance out your physical body's pH level and get with alkalinity. Then you can generate some static electricity, sending me some love telepathically. Set attention to your mind and set intention to communicate. That is all there is to telepathy. You are now tuning in to great days. So, today I'm going to talk on conclusions and liberating yourself from conclusions. Okay, and living more within that distance from concluding things and living within a set knowing, you know. So let's get into this. So we pick up all these conclusions, right, throughout our lives. If you go and talk to somebody, anybody, and you observed the way that they are expressing themselves, you can easily pick apart, dissect the various different conclusions that they have formed within their mind. Okay, so this means that they are living within conclusions. They've concluded their life, and this is a close-endedness. So they're closing themselves off to life because they are concluding things. When you conclude something, you're telling yourself that you know this for all that it is. When this is a closedness, this is closing yourself off to life because you're concluding it. You're coming to a conclusion. Whenever you're writing something, or the way they teach people to write is to end with a conclusion. This is a common model for writing anything that is taught in literature in school, taught in writing topics, or not topics, but writing. Um, the whole course of writing, they teach to use a conclusion at the end, right? Because you're closing the thing that you're writing. So this is what conclusion is all about. Conclusions are about close-endedness, or about closing things. So when you come to your own conclusions and you come to conclude things, you're closing things. You're closing yourself off to life because you're keeping conclusions within your mind. And you start forming all of these different conclusions all throughout life. You start picking up on your own conclusions, right? Um, and this closes you off to life because you're closing things, you know. So you then become unreceptive to life experientially, which is where all truth is. You want to experience life rather than thinking about life. Because if you're thinking about life, you can't really experience the saturation, the potency of direct experience and immersing yourself fully in the here and now. Rather you're caught in your mental, your mind, and you've closed yourself off to life as well. The mind, it needs to be used, but you don't want to be enslaved by it because it can wither you away. Okay, and many people are caught in their mind and they are enslaved by it. And this is creating more autonomous beings rather than self-realized beings, or self-aware beings, or conscious individuals. This is creating unconscious automatons. So you would not, you want to try and not conclude things, but this is the way we are taught. We are taught to conclude things. We are taught to form our own conclusions all throughout our life in literally in everything we do, right? Because we're taught to live in the mind, and we are taught to be conditioned. We're conditioned to be enslaved by the mind. So you got to go through the self liberation for yourself. You can't really rely on another person because another person isn't going to do it for you. You need to have the self realization individually or for yourself, but it is going to happen for everybody, because this is the way of life, or this is the way of the universe, right? But you can take it upon yourself to go into the acceleration of self-realization, right? Which is what you want to do, because you don't want to stay unconscious forever, you know the self-realization and the integration of the unconscious into the conscious is a natural process, but you can accelerate it, which is what you want to do. You want to accelerate it for yourself, and you can accelerate it by observing yourself more often, right? You can be unobservative. You can be unobservative throughout life, and it'll still happen for you. But if you want to, once again, accelerate that self-realization process, so you can liberate yourself and come into an enlightenment, awakening, then you can start observing yourself, okay, on all levels. uh, and once again, we've closed ourselves off to life because we constantly are forming conclusions. This is the way they have built some of the more common complexities, and have been given to us. The very common complexities that have been given to us are usually here to form conclusions, which once again they're going to close us off to life. And then we aren't at that point. We aren't as receptive to life, because then we form we form a type of mental imprisonment, because we've closed ourselves off, and then we recluse ourselves in the mind, and we're stuck in this falsehood and a belief. We're stuck in belief systems, you know. So you got to liberate yourself from this little system, for direct experience. This is going to be the best, So once again, it comes into balancing out your mind and heart, right? We're over excessively using the mind, and due to this, we are becoming slaves to the mind, and this is leaving us emotionless, and it is leaving us without truth, which is direct experience in the here and the now, right? For belief systems, and even for belief systems and false knowings and misinformation, information that we have accumulated that has slowly proved itself wrong, with the passing of time. So once you come into the here and now, the experience, you can understand more of what actually is, rather than what you have concluded. Because what you've concluded already, and have held on to that, and attached yourself to that conclusion, has only withered you away, because it's closed you off to life, and now you're not living, but you think you are living, but everybody has this problem, once again, because this is the way they have programmed us or conditioned us to be. This is the reason why the format for writing anything has conclusions, because the conclusion is there to close things off, but you don't actually have to write stories with conclusions at the end. It just maybe it feels better, or it makes the most sense to do so, you know. But because we're forming conclusions in every activity in our life, or every moment, we're becoming unreceptive, and we're becoming insensible to life, or we're becoming desensitized. We're becoming more numb centrally, and we're reclusing ourselves in the mental imprisonment that that has been built into us. So you have to liberate yourself from this by coming into the here and now, the present, and by the easiest way to do this is just by being present. All right, it wraps into itself, To be here in the here and now, or be here in the present, you have to be present. Simply, you have to bring in presence. Okay, and this is very, very easy to do. All you got to do is be here now. You gotta just be more present, be more aware, be more attentive to what is going on right now, rather than letting yourself slip into the mind, into conceptual, illusory reality. And one very, very effective method is watching the breath. Okay, so I'll go with this. You don't need to watch the breath, but this is going to be the most easiest way, okay, to do it. You can bring in presence through watching the breath. All right, so all you got to do is watch your breath, and as you watch your breath, you're going to see that it's actually going to bring in attention to the here and now and what is going on right now, rather than in things that aren't really relative or rather than getting caught in things that are just purely illusion, right? So you want to come into the here and now, and you want to be able to free yourself, liberate yourself from any type of mental imprisonment or overthinking. Okay, uh, you can also just go outside. You connect with nature. Nature is good at doing this for us, because there's so much going on. There's orchestras, of the animals and whatnot. Everything is playing in harmony with each other, and they all have a sound. And when you're connecting with nature, you can join in that sound as well. And you start playing in that song of nature, and that is pretty much coming into the present, or bringing in presence. And this is also very, very liberating, and this is also very healing for you on many, many levels. All right, so work on not concluding things, and understand to be more open-ended with your life, or with how you are using your mind, rather than making conclusions. Allow yourself to be confused, because confusion is more of an innocent nature and more of a youthfulness, rather than a knowledge or knowing, absolute knowing. Only because absolute knowing is more like an education, where children don't actually look towards any type of education if they're not thrown in a school. Rather, they're just here to experience inner freedom, and then they're taught by themselves, okay, which is a much better school than any type of institutions, because institutions are here to support closing us off to life and living this harmonious, and getting caught in the mind, its labyrinths, and withering away our soul, or our youth, or our truth, or our freedom. Um, and that's pretty much it. So you got to open yourself up to life. You got to be more receptive, try and not make as many conclusions as you do on the daily basis, because it's withering you, it's kind of making you sick, okay? But throw yourself out into life. Yet, try and do this. Throw yourself out in life, connect with nature, meditate, watch your breath, because this is another method of being able to bring in presence, and this is going to liberate you from the mental imprisonment, right? And even making conclusions, because nature, she's going to allow you to observe the concluding, and she's going to throw you in confusion more often as you start to explore the unknown, so you got to explore the unknown more often, in order to come back into pure truth. Okay, so I do thank everybody for watching once again. I do thank everybody for watching a twice time. See you later. Peace out, and have a great day.